2 weeks ago, I asked you people to give me the best arguments for why Gus should be in S tier. And in response to that, some people said, no, F you, get out of here. And some of you just agreed with me. But there were a lot of people who went on that video and they gave me their best reasons. And I'm going to read them. I'm going to find out if they're good arguments. So Emperor Palpatine, the Senate himself, he came to my video. Palpatine, thanks for showing up, man. It means a lot. But what he really was trying to touch on is that Gus is the final evolution of who Walt is and who Heisenberg is pursuing, that whole ideal. He is the ideal Heisenberg who Walt was trying to be. And that's a pretty good point. And I do think that that's an important aspect to the character, and it's good that we see, but I'm not really convinced. Wizzle Miggle, fantastic name, says he makes chicken wings. I rest my case. He does make chicken wings, but I know a lot of characters that make chicken wings. Walt Jr., he loves breakfast. Does that mean he's S tier? No. This guy brings up a very good point. He says he invented water. And, you know, actually, I didn't know this when I was making the list, but thank you for telling me that, because it does add a whole lot to Gus as a character and his whole backstory and everything like that. That's a pretty good point, but I'm still not convinced. Bigger-brained Walter, and he makes epic chicken. My guy, have you ever tried Gus's chicken? Have you ever gone to New Mexico, Los Polos Hermanos? Have you ever gone there and actually tried the chicken? I don't think so. So, I don't know if you can say as epic chicken. Is it as epic as Popeye's spicy chicken sandwich? Maybe, probably not. Aggressive Fox says Gus is Obama. And in addition to that, Ethan Muncie agrees and says Gus is S tier because on top of running a meth empire and owning a very successful fast food chain, he also managed to serve 2 terms as the 44th president of the United States. And I understand what you guys are trying to say here. You're trying to make a reference to the fact that he looks like one of our past presidents. But I think you guys are a little confused because while he does look identical to one of the past presidents, Herbert Hoover was actually the 31st president, and while they are basically twins, I think you guys are a little confused, so I got to take away points for not really doing your research on that one. Ryan Bassetti, he comes here with a very good point, and he says, do Beast Wars Megatron from the original Beast Wars cartoon, and to you, I say, my man Ryan Bassetti, you commented on the wrong video. Kanoi right here, the guy from Lego Star Wars. I'll actually put you in S tier for this Avatar logo. It's pretty cool. He says he took out the entire flippin' cartel. That's all you need for S tier. That is pretty dang impressive, but I think with a little more time and experience, I think Walter Jr. could have done that too, so yeah, I'm still not convinced. Gus is classy, intelligent, intimidating, reasonable, manipulative. And they're just throwing out all these adjectives left and right. His part is very mysterious, which might make his personality a little less interesting, but it also makes him much more scary and intimidating. He is even scary when he isn't even on screen, and an ever-present threat. He is one of the best villains of all time, and an easy S-tier character within Breaking Bad. That's a pretty good point, okay? And while I don't think his personality is not interesting, I actually think his personality is pretty interesting. I think that just because he's not a loud and necessarily charismatic person, that doesn't mean that he's not interesting. Okay, here's what I'll say. Obviously, I haven't done Gus' villain review yet, but I would say he is a very good villain, and within Breaking Bad, S tier, there's actually a pretty good point. Matthias Jensen says, such an intimidating and unique character. Love the different faces this guy has. Okay, that's actually a point we need to talk about because Gus does have a lot of different faces. One of them fully, one of them just half, okay? And no other character in Breaking Bad ever manages to have literally 2 different faces, so that might get him up to S tier. I'll have to read more comments, but that's a pretty good point. Gus is willing to kill Walt's whole family, okay? And while that is true, there were a ton of characters on the show that wanted to kill Walt's whole family and that they would have been willing to do it. And I'm not even sure if Gus really meant it. I think he was just trying to be threatening and intimidating. Where Tuco, though, you look at that guy definitely would have killed Walt's whole family and all their puppies and his grandma, and he would have killed everyone. Gus is very fleshed out. Okay, again, a reference to the fact that he takes his flesh off. That's a no-brainer. He also gives some pretty good points, not to mention he's actually very likable. He invites Walter and Jesse to dinner. He is understanding. He's a nice dude before he's a psychopath. And I think that once you are on Gus's good side, he might seem like a good person to be around. He might want to work with you and he's friendly. I think that actually is a really cool side to Gus. And guys, like, I put him in A tier. I really like Gus. Hannibal Mendez says, make Gus S tier because of peer pressure. No, a YouTube user. Very accurate name. Okay, this isn't a Reddit. Come on, man. Gus. It's literally in his name. That's a good point. But also, you know what else is in his name? G and U. Is Gus a G tier character? If that's so, he's like the worst character on the whole entire show. Okay, so kind of joking aside, let's figure this out, okay? Because I have some serious things to say. Let me explain why I put him in A tier. If we are talking about TV show characters in general, like we're comparing Breaking Bad characters and Troll Hunter characters and Seinfeld characters, then yes, I would probably put Gus in S tier. But in Breaking Bad, in the universe of Breaking Bad, I put Walt and Jesse in S tier, okay? So then the question becomes, does Gus belong on that S tier with Walt and Jesse? Is Gus, in my eyes, this is how I see it, is Gus as good a character as Walt and Jesse? And my answer is still no. As far as villains go, though, is he S tier? Maybe. I haven't done that villain review yet. I'd have to think about it and compare him to other people. Is Gus an S tier character? I will say yes, but is he an S tier character in the universe of Breaking Bad? Is he on par with Walt and Jesse? I don't really think so, but that's just my opinion. Thank you for the arguments. They're actually pretty good, and while I did joke about some of them were actually pretty funny, and some of them just had some really good points. So thank you again for watching. Subscribe if you'd like more, and if you want me to do this again with a different character, like, I don't know, well, you can convince me Tommen's not an F tier character because he absolutely is, then like the video and let me know. Cool, thanks, bye.